As the weather's getting warmer, we need a good makeup routine that will look flawless, not slide around, but feel lightweight on the skin, last all day and enhance all your beautiful features. How's it going? My name's Janelle. I'm a professional makeup artist and content creator of over 10 years. And I got you covered when it comes to that kind of makeup look. This has been my go-to look for like any occasion, any special occasion, date night. It's glam, but super lightweight. I'm gonna show you how to layer a little bit of a lot of products so your makeup will last all day, but not feel heavy, not look heavy, enhance your features in the most beautiful way. If that's something you're interested in seeing, then definitely keep on watching. Consider subscribing if you want to see more makeup from me. I upload new videos every single week. And yeah, let's just stop rambling and jump right into this video. Start with the Milk Hydro Grip Gel Tint. This stuff is incredible. Today I'll be mixing it with a tiny bit of my Lawless Forget the Filler foundation for a little extra coverage. I could totally get away with just using this on its own if I had like the perfect color match. This is ideal for somebody that does not like a lot of makeup because it literally looks like skin. You can build it up to like a medium-ish coverage, but it's definitely more of like a sheer lightweight product, but it will last all day long. I'm kind of like lightly scribble it on my face. Then I shake up my Lawless Forget the Filler. This is in the shade 7L. Entonces, grab my little Lawless brush that I've been loving lately for like quickly buffing into the skin. Pick up a tiny bit first, pat the brush to make sure it's evenly coated on there. Both of these products are gorgeous on their own, but I really like mixing them together. And then when I want super full coverage, I'll just use the Lawless and I can layer it and get more of a full coverage. So they're just great products to have on their own, but also beautiful to mix together. If you wanted to try a really pretty drugstore alternative that's kind of like the combination of the two, I would highly recommend the L'Oreal True Match Nude Skin Tint. That stuff is incredible and I especially love it for this time of year. And if you use that with the Milk Hydro Grip primer, or if you use it with the e.l.f. Power Grip primer, you're gonna get a very similar wear and finish and like the longevity of the makeup with that combo. Another one I recommend is the Maybelline Skin Tint. Such a beautiful formula. Lightweight, long wearing, color selection is gorgeous. Then I like to take a clean, damp beauty sponge and push that into the skin to pick up any excess product. And when I do this, it also kind of lifts some of the coverage, which I'm not mad at, especially if I don't have any like huge breakouts on the skin. But by the time I layer my concealer, powder, and bronzers, that's gonna add extra layers of coverage. When you can see parts of the skin peeking through, I feel like it makes your makeup look way more fresh and natural than when it's just like all even. Beautiful. I really need to move on, but I can't stop talking about this Physicians Formula Diamond Blur Cream Bronzer. I use the shade Deep Bronze. It is perfect if you want that melted into the skin, juicy, fresh finish, like ideal for spring and summer. And I like to apply it with the more fluffy side of my Mario F4 brush. And I evenly coat the brush, push it back into the hairline in like a little right triangle on the forehead. And I do that on both sides. And I make sure to really push it into that hairline. I always talk about in my hair growth videos how rice water spray works for like filling out the hairline, and I know it works because whenever I'm actively spraying it in my hairline, I'll get like long pieces of hair all the way down onto my forehead. I swear, I think it's the rice water. Always work it on the eye, and then I take the small side. I like to use the ear as a guide, and I start a little higher and just press. Once it's all deposited, I work it in and then back. Dang, I just got so hungry out of nowhere, which is so weird because I literally just had breakfast. I always do two little things right here to chisel the chin, and then whenever I contour my jawline, I always bring it under and I wrap it around and then down. And I blend it out right away because if you've been following me for a while, I always talk about the tragic story of me rushing to do my makeup for my engagement photos, and I did not blend out the contour under here, and in every photo you just see a brown line right under my jawline. Clean beauty sponge again and tap the excess. I find this step to be essential between cream steps, especially in the spring and summer, because as the weather gets warmer, I feel like the makeup can slide around more, and by making sure that you're like picking up any excess unnecessary product, it prevents it from like being able to slide around and prevents it from looking cakey. And if you know me, you know I love to do the contour unibrow. What that is basically doing a line down your nose that we separate later with concealer, and then I also bring that line in between the brows, like, and then that also helps me flow into the eye crease so that everything just flows together, all the natural shadows flow together. It's just like the easiest way, I feel like, to contour your nose. I'm also gonna wrap that around here and here. The next step is blush. Oh, this is a blush combo I've been really liking lately. There's so many blushes I liked. In my previous video, I talked about the drugstore blushes that I like. Lately, I've been liking to mix a drugstore and a high-end blush. These L'Oreal Lumi blushes are so good. I've also been loving this ColourPop blush, and then I've been loving this Hourglass liquid blush for a while in the shade Moment, and lately I've been liking to mix it with the ColourPop blush in the shade Princess Ave. It creates the perfect peachy pink, which I'm sure I have in one of the other liquid blushes, but I don't know, I've just been loving this combo lately. So I'll drip some of the Hourglass on the back of my hand, then we take a little of the ColourPop, roll that there. I take the small side of my Mario F4 brush and I mix it together here and pressing it in place until most of it's deposited, and then I start to slowly work it in. And I like to do this face to really get the apples of the cheek, and it creates like a really pretty full little cheek apple. It looks intense, but don't worry, we'll blend it out with concealer. But before we do that, I take the fluffy side of that same brush and tap. Look how pretty it is. I'm gonna apply a little more contour right under that little apple, the hug. I love the look of that for the spring and summer. I just find it to be so cutesy when you have like a very rounded cheek look. And then I take whatever's left of my brush and put it here. You can also put some on the chin, forehead. Beautiful. Lately I've been liking to use the Milk Hydro Grip Skin Tint to clean up around my brows. I find it gives a way like softer finish than using a concealer, because sometimes the product will build up in this area and it just looks really heavy. And I mean, a lot of times we don't necessarily need the coverage. It's more just to like define the edges and to brighten up that area. Take a tiny bit of that skin tint and I'll coat both sides of a flat definer brush. And then I normally like to do this before the contour unibrow, but I honestly forgot, so. But I like to do a grid here. And then this also helps me shape out the brow so that I end up using way less brow product. Come out like that. And then I start at the arch all the way across. This also helps me make sure that my brows stay super symmetrical and even. Then I take a slightly fluffier brush and I'll just soften the edges. Tap over everything with my clean sponge. Tower 28 concealer, which I'm almost out of again. This will be my third one. A little right here. Let it sit for a second. That way I can get the most coverage out of it. And I also use it to shape the like contour that we did on the eye so that I have a guide for the eye shape that I want. So I use the lower lash line as a guide. I come a little bit lower and I just do a line like that, and that'll create the perfect shape for shadow. Put a little around the nose. Then for this area, I like to take a slightly lighter shade. I'm gonna use the Tarte Shape Tape Creamy Concealer. There's a little bit more coverage to it. It helps with longevity, but it's not heavy looking. It honestly sits beautiful on the skin. So I pick that up with the tip of a definer brush. Do a tiny little line to separate that contour unibrow. Wipe off the excess, and I do a tiny bit here and a little bit back here to help shape in the face. Then with my damp beauty sponge, I'm gonna pick up the Tarte Shape Tape before blending out that Tower 28 concealer. You wanna really push the sponge together, that way you have a ton of control. I noticed with this look, it's like a ton of tiny steps, and I'm using a little bit of a lot of product, but it gives you the most flawless finish that won't look heavy. And then now that I've like mastered this routine, it literally takes me no more than like 25 minutes to do. I've been wearing this for like every date night, every little special occasion when I want to look dumb, but I don't want it to be like, I want it to be glam, but not like boom in your face glam. And then I'm just gently pressing right here. And boom, the basis of the skin is done. Now we're gonna set with the long wearing setting spray that I also can't stop talking about, the Revolution Super Fix. It's so good for locking in your makeup. It's essential to spray and like mesh these creams together. It just allows you to use way less powders so that your makeup can last long without needing all those powders. Now that this is about 70% dry, you still want your skin to be a little damp because it'll help mesh in the powder products. Now is when I'll go in with my Hourglass Ambient Bronzer in Radiant Bronze Light. Truly the perfect bronzer for the spring and summer. Every spring and summer, I whip this baby back out because I'm gonna try this bronzer brush today. This one's by Dibs Beauty. I'm gonna use the dense side to really push it into this forehead area. But what's beautiful about this bronzer is that it gives you that glow without needing to go in with a separate highlight, and make sure to really work it into the hairline. It gives the most smooth, beautiful finish. Wrap it around the eye and then push it up into the cheek to really sculpt that baby. Look at the glow, it's so pretty. Always bring it under and down. Don't forget the ears, especially if you got an updo. The same bronzer, I'm taking a fluffy brush and just lightly grazing my nose. I don't want to straight up contour with this because it's a little too luminous for straight up contour, but I like to just set the areas that we use that cream bronzer, toss it all over the lid. It makes the most beautiful all over lid shade because it has like this perfect sheen and iridescent finish. And then if you wanted to really like take a shader brush and focus on those more shimmery pieces and pack that on the lid, it would be stunning. For blush, I've been mixing my ColourPop Let's Dance blush with the Hourglass Ambient blush in Mood Exposure. There's also these new luminous Fenty blushes that I just got in that I kind of wanted to try today, but I wanted to stick with the product that like I know I love, and I want to do another video showcasing like a bunch of new launches and like putting them to the test. Let me know if you want to see that. Let me know what products or new launches you're interested in seeing, how they wear, if they're worth it, and I will film with them if I have them. Again, making that creepy little face, really getting the apples of the cheek, and then working it also on the eyelid. Beautiful! Oh yeah, under our setting powder, spraying my face once again with that setting spray. This will again ensure that everything does not move all day. Also, since I will be applying a good amount of powder under the eye, this will help the powder melt into the skin a little bit better. A little of my Huda cupcake powder with my Mario powder in light neutral. Together, the Huda will help it last all day, and then this just helps it so that you can set your under eyes but it'll like melt into the skin and look hydrated. They're just so beautiful together. You could totally use them on their own. The Mario I'd recommend if you have slightly drier skin, and the Huda I would recommend if you are more oily. Picking both up with my damp beauty sponge. The tip, make sure it's evenly coated by like pressing it on your hand like this, and then I just apply some down the sides of the nose and press it out and work it back and forth and around this whole area. Put a little extra back here. Whatever is left I'll put around this area, but I don't like to set it too much because I kind of want it to have that like natural glow peeking through. Same thing with the center of the nose. Sometimes I don't set it at all because I like that natural glow. It's like I'm gonna add highlight there anyway, might as well just leave the natural highlight that is there. And that's the key to makeup looking good in the warmer months. If you don't need makeup somewhere, don't apply it, because as it gets warmer, it'll like move, it'll start settling in weird crevices. You gotta be very mindful of your placement. Let that all sit for a second, and then now I'm just making sure everything is completely pushed into the skin. I'm gonna quickly do my brows. I do that by gelling down my brow hairs first. I'm using my ABH Brow Freeze Gel. I like to back comb first and then take a clean spoolie and brush them up. Find that when I gel them first, I use way less brow product because I'm really able to see those sparse areas and where I need to fill in. I know I need to fill in here, here, and a little at the tail. Whereas like sometimes you fill in your brows first and then you do the brow gel and then you're like, holy, where I place the brow pencil isn't even where my brow is now because I lifted everything up. I love this little fan. I got it in a, oh no, it died. Dang, I need to recharge it. Maybelline Total Temptation brow pencil is phenomenal. I'm just doing short tick marks, filling in the front area, following the direction of the brow hairs. Should have turned off the camera. Every time I'm filming, I mess up my brows. Honestly, it's only when I'm filming for YouTube. I don't know what it is. You guys just make me so nervous when doing my eyebrows. Then we are going to do our eyeshadow. The shadow is so simple, but I found like the prettiest eye makeup routine. For the eyeshadow, I'm gonna mix these two shades in my Ofra Must Have Mattes palette. I'll also dip a little bit into this one. I'm gonna dust that honestly on like half of the eyelid and then work it back and forth into the crease. But you wanna make sure most of it is deposited on the eyelid first. From there, you could either pinch your brush together and apply it to the lower lash line, or if you want more control, you pick up those same shades with the small side of a dense shader brush. This is the Sigma E55, and stamp that on the lower lash line. I like to use a shader brush because I find I have more control and get way less fallout. And then I take the flat side of the brush and make sure it's all blended up here too, so everything flows together. Then dipping into some of the lighter shades in the palette, I'm gonna use that to set under my brow bone. I'm also gonna lightly dust this in this front part of the eye, just to open it a little bit. So stunning and easy. Oh my gosh, I've been using this since 10 years ago on my channel, but this Sephora eyeshadow in the shade Lucky Penny. I purchased a new one since 2015, but this is one of the most pretty champagne eyeshadows ever. And I feel like it would work well for so many different skin tones. This is like the ideal bridal shade too. And I like to apply it on the center of my lid with my finger, kind of blending it upward to really open and lift the eye. And then I'll pick some up with that same fluffy brush we were using to dust things in the crease with. Take the tiniest amount and then use that to buff everything out so that you have this soft twinkle throughout your entire eye look. Like, look at that twinkle. Are you kidding me? Of course, we have to highlight the inner corner with Benefit Cookie Highlight. A little with a pencil brush, come right here, wiggle, 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 then just flick it straight up. Wiggle, 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 flick it straight up. Add a tiny more down the nose. Fluffy blending brush again, soften the edges. This next step is crucial. Take a black liner. I'm taking Mario Super Black Eye Pencil. Love this pencil. And I'm gonna tightline my inner upper waterline, as well as this inner corner here. Wait, I need to make sure I pick out the eye boogers in this eye because then it just looks gross. And then when you get to the edge, I come from inside of the eye and I do a short little tick mark out, creating the softest, babiest wing. Take the brush on the other side and flick it out. This will create a guide for the little baby wing we'll do later. But see how effortless that is? You can even just do that if you want to extend the eye without taking up any lid space. I'm also gonna bring some of this liner on this first third because we'll use a different shade on the other part of the eye. Now for my favorite part, this brings all the springy vibes and it will make your eyes beam from a mile away. Take the Makeup Forever Aqua Resist color pencil in the shade Forest or any green liner. Honestly, any colored eyeliner. I love using like deep greens, plums, blues on the eye because they'll make the eye pop without it being obvious that you're wearing like the brightest colored liner. The undertone blended into this little black wing that we have will enhance your eyes without taking over the entire eye look. So I like to start where the wing is and use that as a guide, and then I do short tick marks. It's like the most beautiful, honestly, it's almost like a bluey green. I'm gonna connect the black a little bit more because I don't like the green all over. I feel like it can be a bit much. You're gonna take a small definer brush and blend it, starting from the wing, blend that all together. Look how bomb that looks. Oh, I wish you guys could see it even better. The color, and it's like eye-catching, but not too much. Also, this is a step super crucial for me. Take the Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder with a small fluff brush. I just work it in this area to really brighten and lift. I'm gonna start my lip combo before mascara. You'll see why in a second. We're gonna use one of those peel off lip stains where like the longer you leave them on, the longer it stains the lip. Lately, I've been using the Sacheu lip liner stain in the shade Nudie. When I tell you this lasts all day, like even after your gloss or like lip liner fades, the basis of this stain will not budge. Over the summertime, you're going to barbecues, pool parties, things like that. I don't want to be babysitting my lip. Like I want a little tint there, but I just want it to be one and done, you know? Goes on insane, but when you peel it off, it comes out to like a really subtle stain on the lip. I'm gonna use a more like hydrating setting spray first, and then I'll go back in with the Revolution Super Fix. This is gonna melt the makeup so it doesn't look so heavy, and then this will obviously seal it in so it's in place all day. I should have done this before doing the lip stain, but it's fine, we'll make it work. I'm just gonna try to cover my mouth maybe. Then the Revolution. Doing a little bit of a lot of steps will save you time in the long run because then you're not gonna have to be touching up your makeup throughout the day. It's just one and done. I'm gonna use my Lancome Lash Primer per usual. Stick with my Milani Anti-Gravity for the top lashes, and then I'm gonna use my ColourPop Burgundy Mascara for the lower lashes. Burgundy mascara will make your eyes pop, and if you're intimidated, just do it on the lower lashes, and then sometimes I'll layer a little bit of black on top so it's not too intense. But the Burgundy mascara with this green eyeliner, forget it. Your eyes are gonna be so striking. I'm gonna do this off camera. I'll be right back. All right, you guys ready to see the most satisfying part? And then it peels right off. It's like so disgusting, but satisfying. And look how pretty that stain is. It's like popsicle lips. I like to take a little makeup remover wipe just to make sure it's all even, because sometimes some parts of the lip that are like more dry or cracked, it'll get more stain in there. Are you ready to see the prettiest lip combo of all time? I'm gonna line the perimeter with Anastasia Cool Brown using a light hand because you can get a very dark. And then for the center of the lip, I've been alternating between Lawless Forget the Filler in Strawberry Shortcake and the Makeup Forever Super Boost and the Makeup Forever Super Boost Gloss in Latte Glaze. I don't know which one I want to do today. I showed you guys this one in my previous video, milky pinky tone, and I love that it's a plumping gloss, but I kind of want to do the Makeup Forever one today. Maybe I could actually show you both. I make the rules. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the Makeup Forever. It is like a very nudie gloss, but they're more sheer. Super comfortable on the lip as well. And then I take this small brush and I blend the edges of the lip liner into it. Isn't it stunning? I'm gonna add a little of the Lawless one too. Again, super similar, honestly. I think this one's just a little bit pinkier and it's a plumping gloss. Using these glosses made me realize how much I love a pinky nude lip. I used to do them all the time back in like 2019 and then I just stopped. And I feel like with the gloss, it's so much more wearable and less intimidating. And here you have it. This is the completed spring makeup look. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you gathered some tips on making your makeup last all day. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you want to see more content from me. I upload new videos every single week. I love you all so much and I'll see you next time. Bye!